Hello, you guys. It's Desiree, and right now you're watching a work in progress WIP piece, and let's talk about the piece. So this is my character, Kitty. She's from my second comic, Corona Zero, and I wanted to do sort of like a paint kind of style. And this was like a long time ago that I did this. I started this piece like 2 years ago. I still had Paint Tool Side. Well, I still do have Paint Tool Side, but I was still using Paint Tool Side, and I was still getting the ropes of it. And I still was developing these characters quite a bit. And yeah, so this is my character Kitty, and I wanted to do her in this style. And I like really had like this really specific pose in mind because I had been listening to this song in K-pop, and it's called Puss, and it's like a really aggressive rap song by this artist named Jimin. And I thought it like made a lot of sense because her name's Kitty and the song's named Puss, and it's like really aggressive and she's really aggressive, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do something sort of based on that. So that was kind of what I was doing with the pose and everything. And the thing that I want to talk about in this work in progress piece is intimidation with your own art. And this is like something that I actually never really hear that many people talk about, and it's kind of crazy because I know a lot of people feel it where they do something, and like at this time I really wasn't that good at digital art. I was not very well versed in it, but I was like intaking a lot of tutorials, I was intaking a lot of information at once, and I had jumped from like trash. I mean, I'm not gonna give myself a lot. I wasn't really doing that well, so I jumped from like trash to something that I liked, like basically like over the span of like 2 weeks, and it was like super impressive to me, and this painting was super impressive to me, and I really liked it. And the more I kept going, the more I liked it, and that's why I stopped doing the piece. I was intimidated of it. I was afraid that I was gonna screw it up, and I just got so intimidated of it that I just kind of stopped because I liked it a lot and I didn't want to mess it up. And also, this was like a very intensive painting for me at the time. Like right now it doesn't seem like that much to me because it like I had only worked on it for 5 hours, but at the time I had never really worked on anything for that long. So this was like very time consuming and very scary for me because I felt like with every second that I worked on this painting I would screw it up. I felt like the more I kept going on it, I was like, I'm gonna mess this thing up, and I really like it, and that's why I stopped. And like now I'm looking back on it and I'm really irritated with myself. Like I can't believe I stopped doing this painting because of that. But I can believe it. I really can believe it. Because I mean I still do experience a lot of intimidation with my art. Like I've mentioned this in multiple videos before about how I don't tend to finish my artwork as much as I should. And so I haven't particularly, like, now that I am finishing more of my artwork, I do get intimidated, and I'm like, this is really good, and I don't want to destroy this. And when you're doing a sketch, I mean, like, when something's really good and you don't want to destroy it, you can just stop. I mean, it's a sketch, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, to get that level of polish and that level of finish in your art, you have to finish it. And so, yeah, I mean, from since then, since I've, matured quite a bit with my art or whatever, I can say for sure that I've gotten a lot better about this. When I do get really intimidated about a drawing that I really like, I just keep going and keep going and keep going until I mess up, and then that intimidation just kind of goes away because you're like, I screwed it up, whatever. I still gotta finish it. And that's happened to me on multiple pieces where I'm like, okay, just keep going until something sucks, and it happens. Like, I mean, that's like my general idea of how to fix it, honestly. Like, you just keep going and keep going and keep going, and don't take a huge break from it. That's another like super good tip. Like, don't take a huge break from it. Like, take a break if you need to, right? But I wouldn't suggest taking more than like 2 or 3 days on a break, because if you do, that intimidation factor is going to get way, way, way higher, especially if you come back to the piece and it still looks as good as you remember it looking, because there's that thing where you like think something looks really good and then you come back to it like 3 days later and you're like, wow, this wasn't halfway as good as I thought. But if you do come back and then it's like still good, you're kind of like, oh my god, this is actually like not terrible, like oh my god, and then you get more scared to work on it. So yeah, in pieces where you feel a lot of intimidation, I really highly suggest experimenting a lot until something until you feel the pressure sort of, be relieved from you. And I also really suggest finishing a lot of artwork, because you will absolutely get over that intimidation thing where you're like, dang, this is so good, I don't want to ruin it, if you finish a lot of stuff and you feel that feeling a lot. Like that's definitely something that I've learned through finishing a lot more artwork. Yeah, it's kind of in that seeing your artwork as precious sort of mindset that I've talked about before, where you are too scared to experiment on something even if you think it's gonna work, because you really like the thing that you're about to experiment on, or you're too scared to like even like doing something like putting a dark in a certain place or something, because you don't want to ruin it and you don't want to have to redo it, because you know that if you try to redo it, it's not even going to end up the same way. It's not going to end up looking the same as when you first did it. But yeah, don't let intimidation stop you from finishing pieces. I probably won't ever come back to this piece. Like, I love it, I really, really do like it, but I mean, I started it like probably like over a year ago. I don't even know, like it was like a long time ago. And I mean, in a very similar vein with my other works in progresses, I mean, I just don't want to go back to them. And also, I've kind of forgotten how to use Paint Tool Side. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I had gotten that good with Paint Tool Side, because I surely have no idea how to do what I was doing. Like I have a texture layer on there, and like these watercolor effects, and like I have no idea what I was doing. Like, I'm sure when I was doing it, I like had quite the well-versedness in Paint Tool Slide, because that was literally my only option. But now that I've been working in Photoshop for so long, like if I tried to come back to this, I'd be like, wow, how do I get the brush to work? Like, yeah, like, I mean, Paint Tool Slide is extremely easy. Like, honestly, like once you get the hang of it, is way easier than Photoshop. Like, way, way, way easier. But yeah, that's the piece so far, I guess. Thanks for watching and listening to me ramble. Yeah, bye.